selector, rewind selector, rewind selector. Carry it out. Rewind selector, rewind selector, rewind selector. Carry it out.
How you guys doing out there? Are you ready for Super Drift? All right. Well, we're just about to get the show
Are you ready to party streets of Long Beach? Make some noise! Top 16, Chelsea to no power.
we are about to get things underway. We've already got some chaos with 2 cars getting worked on, but we're going to introduce you to the 6 drivers that we have out on course as we get ready for our Grade 8 showdown here at Super Drift at the Long Beach Grand Prix. Starting on the left-hand side in front of Grandstand 16. Oh, here we go. Here comes another one. It's car number 171 from Rancho Cucamonga. Give it up for Rome Charpentier. Everybody knows this guy. He loves to go sideways. Car number 13, residing in Covina, California. Give it up for JTP Justin Pawlak. Currently ranked 9th in the Formula Drift Championship, hailing from Orange County. Car number 101, former champion Michael Essa. He's back. Everybody make some noise for Forrest Wang. One of the craziest drivers out there. He's got a friend in his passenger seat, and he's bound to give us some good memories here tonight. Give it up for Jeff Jones. The 2019 Pro 2 champion, car 999 from Agoura Hills, California. Give it up for Trenton Beechum. Your hometown local boy had a nice weekend last week here on this same track, and he's going to give us a show tonight. Give it up for Kyle Mohan. And finally, the 17-year-old phenom hailing from Las Vegas, making a big name for himself in the series. Car number 513, Brandon Sorensen. These are your 8 drivers in our top 8 competition here tonight, going from 8 down to 4, down to 2, and a champion for tonight and tomorrow night here at the Long Beach Grand Prix. We'll let them get back and get ready to go as we'll get the battle underway. My name is Ryan Sage. I'm joined up here by judge and commentator Ryan Lantain. Now, Ryan, you guys spent some time here last week getting a look at this not only historic but just amazing track. What can the fans that maybe weren't here last week expect for a competition here under the lights at Long Beach?
Well, this track is pretty. Can anybody hear me? All right, this track is pretty unique in that it's a street course, walled completely from beginning to finish. There's no way you can really. Yeah, we're not going out live.
All right, we'll bring Ryan back in a second. We're having a little connection issue there for him. But Ryan, I'm going to just kind of give a little bit of a flavor of what the fans can expect. The way that we got 8 drivers into this head-to-head bracket is basically a random draw. And so we populated a bracket from that random draw both tonight and tomorrow night. The same judging criteria that we use for the Formula Drift Pro Championship and Pro Spec Championship will be what we use for this event. And it will be the same process. We'll go from the left-hand side of the bracket, first battle, then the next battle. It'll go from 8 drivers down to 4, down to 2, and then a champion. So there you go, Ryan. That is our Grade 8 bracket. You can see our first battle up is Trenton Beechum versus Rome Charpentier, then followed by Brandon Sorensen and Michael Essa. Justin Pawlak and Forrest Wang doing battle on the right-hand side of the bracket. And then Jeff Jones and Kyle Mohan wrapping things up.
Can you hear me? All right, Ryan, I'm going out to the web, so that's all that matters at the moment, I guess. It's a different type of night we're going to have here, but on a really well-known track. Like you said, we saw some pretty good action last weekend And what's unique about this track is that it's walled from beginning to finish, start to finish. There's really nowhere to go off track except at inside clip 1 for the most part. But it really gives us a defined area, and we love this track because of that. If the lead driver goes out to the wall at touch and go 1, then that chase driver, there's no way they can really cheat in that area. You get out to that wall, you want to be just grazing the wall, and then of course outside zone 1 is the really famous outside zone. It's right under the bridge. And from there, drivers need to draw a big wide arc all the way to outside zone number 2. And we're asking drivers not to grab any handbrake there, to be on throttle, be committed, and then get out to the touch and go, which is just before inside clip 1. And then we ask drivers to finish wide at the finish line, going out to that wall on driver's left over there. Now, you were bringing up what fans should expect to see here. This is the type of track that is full throttle. There's not a lot of room for error. Going out to outside zone number 1 from the touch and go, it's really obvious how close they are to the wall. They can't surpass the wall. It's not like another track where they could drop a tire in the dirt maybe, or go multiple tires off there. So it's a little more risky for the drivers and a little more obvious when they make errors there. Transitioning to outside zone 1, of course, is a spot where they can make some big errors that'll lead them into the tire wall.
All right, as we get the drivers back to the hot pits and get ready for our first matchup, we'll give you guys a course preview of what you can expect here, and we'll also break down some of the judging criteria. This was made by our friends over at Torque Drift. You get a good look here at exactly what the drivers are trying to do, but in a digital fashion here. We've got our first touch and go after the initiation, going over to our first big outside zone underneath the bridge, and then a second outside zone, which drivers need to get as close to the wall without crumpling too much of the rear of their vehicle. And then we have a touch and go, a rear touch and go right before this last and final inside clip, which if you were watching last week, a lot of really crazy and exciting things happened in that particular part of the course. So that is your Torque Drift course preview as we get set and ready to get our first battle underway. Trenton Beechum and Rome Charpentier. All right, and before we get things underway, let's check out some action from last week with our K&N fan experience.
Here we go.
What's up, everyone? Vaughn Gittin Jr. here, and I am pumped because Matt is the winner of the K&N Premium Experience, and he has no idea that I'm going to take him for a lap around the streets of Long Beach. Yo, what's up?
Dude, what's up, man?
Is your
How you
name
doing?
Mac?
Yeah?
This envelope has upgraded VIP tickets for you, a track walk, meet and greet, which we're doing right now.
Dude, are you serious?
Yep. And if you're down, I will take you for a hot lap in my Mustang.
That would be the coolest
Around
thing
the track.
ever. Are you freaking serious?
I'm
right
serious, bro.
now? Oh my
I'm
God.
serious. I love smiles on faces.
I honestly just am so speechless. Like, that was the coolest thing ever. Literally the best day of my life.
He was really like, I bet you want to take the bumper off. And I was like,
He
okay,
did it. He did
fair
it.
enough, here we are.
It was so cool. Thank you.
Congrats, big thanks to K&N for putting smiles on faces, not only with amazing product, but with experiences like this. So you guys are killing it. Keep it up.
All right. Well, that was a really cool experience last week, Ryan. That was a young gentleman that we found in the comment section of a post that we were using to surprise him to get a ride with one of his favorite drivers, Vaughn Gittin Jr.
Yeah, that's a heck of an experience, Ryan. Oh, look what we have here.
So Ryan, give us a little breakdown here. This is the decel map. This obviously became a really important aspect of last week's round of competition, but explain for the fans that are watching for the first time what they're seeing there and what that means.
The decel map or the momentum map is used for where the lead driver is supposed to decel, where they're allowed to decel. You can see there, top left of the screen, the decel area. That's coming from the start line to initiation. So as the cars rotate to angle, we're expecting the lead driver to potentially slow down there. So that chase driver should expect that while they're following the lead car. The lead car from that point needs to be on throttle through the touch and go, outside zone 1, outside zone 2. Touch and go number 2 is where they can, after rotating the car, get the car slowed down again. So the chase driver, as they're coming up behind that car, will be expecting that lead car to slow down a little bit. The chase car knows to give them a little bit of room there and then get back on throttle from inside clip 1 to the finish line. And this is used if there's ever a contact, collision between the cars. We look at that map and make sure that the lead car was adhering to that map properly. And this map, of course, is the sector map. So this is used in qualifying. We look at the sector map to break down the track for the line and angle portions of the qualifying scoring. Typically, these zones are worth different amounts based on where we deem the track to be more difficult. And in this situation, touch and go 1 is worth 6 points. Outside zone 1 and 2 are worth 7. And then we go to 5 points for the last 2 areas. And we add that all up. The qualifying is line, angle, and style. The style portion is worth 40 points. And that's how we break the course up usually to get all the drivers qualified for each event.
So Ryan, we saw that the sector map is usually used for qualifying. Qualifying is how we usually seed the bracket. Now we have kind of a random draw here. The battles that you see, are there any that you're really looking forward to? Obviously, we haven't seen Forrest Wang in some time, though it's really exciting to have him back. We're going to see that on the first battle of the right-hand side. It looks like we've got our first driver in the first bracket up, which is Trent Beechum and Rome Charpentier. The burnout box just right behind that area of the course, and then they go right into the start line to get things underway.
Yeah, you're asking which driver I'm kind of interested to see out here. And Forrest Wang is the big question mark, as we haven't seen him in Formula Drift competition in a few years. So it's I know that he does drive all the time. He's definitely one of the most stylish drivers, one of the most comfortable on this track. So, earlier he kind of shrugged his shoulders and said, I haven't driven in a while, but we'll see how it goes. And he's generally a little more subdued with his attitude, let's say. He's a little more laid back, but he generally lets his driving on the track do the talking.
And it's not as if these guys, especially Forrest, really had a lot of practice
yeah.
leading up to this.
No, generally we get a few runs of practice in, but sometimes the schedule doesn't always allow for that. So in this situation, the majority of drivers that are driving today did quite a few laps last weekend, so they're pretty comfortable with this track. They know where to get the car initiated. They know when to get back on throttle. They're always relying on muscle memory, and they're also looking at different points on the track as references to know when to get the car at angle, when to get back on throttle, what part of the wall they're trying to achieve, where they're trying to place the car. So they're going to be using all of those references this weekend that, of course, have changed since last weekend, since all the different race cars are actually out on the track here. We're not using the traditional drifting markings that we usually have, but instead the drivers will have to refer to different things that are out there at this point.
All right, Ryan, well, we're waiting for 5 more cars to get back to the hot pits, get underway. We'll throw them in the burnout box, but we'll take this quick commercial break and come right back and kick off the 2021 Super Drift Challenge here at the Long Beach Grand Prix.
My name is Farouk Kawai.
Hey, I'm Justin Pawlak.
What's up? I'm Jeff Jones.
Hey guys, Dylan Hughes, Formula Drift Pro 1 driver, and I drive Link.
I drive Link.
I drive Link.
I drive Link.
With performance this raw, you need air that's pure. We started with a firm belief that innovation could improve performance. With the success of 50 years and millions of filters behind us, we continue to look ahead. Guaranteed to protect against dirt and proven to provide up to 50% more airflow. This is filtration for the future.
All right, we are back and just about to get things underway here at the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach, on the streets of Long Beach. Beautiful track, beautiful night. Ryan, this is one of the only times in the series history that we really get to do drifting on this track at nighttime. How much of a difference do you think it is for drivers compared to the daytime event?
Well, most of them tell us how it's driving through a tunnel as you're coming down to the initiation point. You can't see around that first corner because it's a 90-degree right and it's flanked by walls all the way around. So I would imagine at night it has to be even trickier. As you get the car to angle, your headlights aren't pointing where you're actually traveling, so you're relying on ambient lighting, you're relying on the lighting that they have set up. So I think it looks pretty well lit right now, and since, as we said earlier, they're not really getting a lot of practice right now, they're more or less relying on their data from last weekend, and the track's going to be very different. The surface will not have quite the grip that they're accustomed to, so I think it's going to be a little tricky for them at first. But I have a lot of confidence in these guys. They have a lot of seat time on this track, so they should be pretty comfortable getting around it. And we actually saw one of the LMP cars spin out earlier at inside clip 1. I think he was trying to imitate the drift guys. He failed. He almost crashed into the wall. So hopefully our guys can do a little bit better and put on a show tonight and show them how it's done.
All right, so we got Trenton Beecham and Rome Charpentier up in the mix here. They will be our first battle underway. Drivers get about 30 seconds to do a burnout and get their tires up to temperature. The evolution of drifting in that sense has been unbelievable, but here we go. First lap out, Trenton Beecham hitting that corner and getting out to that touch and go, a little bit off that outside zone. Oh, here comes Rome, nearly making contact, having to make an adjustment. And we will definitely talk about the areas where that lead driver can decel, but as we finish up that run, had a little bit of a scary moment there as we saw Rome keeping pace with Beecham, using him as a moving clipping point. And then Ryan, as we work you through the replay here, we nearly had some contact right there prior to outside zone number 2.
Yeah, Ryan, you could see that Trenton had a big handbrake pull as he approached outside zone 2, but Rome handled it really well. You could see the car getting really close right there. Because Trenton slowed down a little bit in the lead position, you have to expect these cars are running around 800 horsepower or more, and in a situation where you've been on throttle and all of a sudden you're clutch in and grabbing the handbrake, the car is going to decel. So you could see Rome in the chase position closed in quite a bit there, but was able to keep the angle in the car, not make contact with Trenton. So it looks really good for Rome to be able to adjust like that and to avoid contact with Beecham. So I think as Rome gets into the lead position now, he has a couple of opportunities out there to do a little bit better than Trenton did. I think Trenton did great on the first touch and go, but he did miss outside zone 1 a little bit and had that big handbrake pull. So if Rome cleans it up a little bit, he could win the lead-to-lead comparisons.
All right, here we go. Switching spots. Rome Charpentier taking the lead. Nice little initiation now. Pushing out to the touch and go. Off of it a little bit. Lots of speed coming through the bridge. Surging into outside zone 2. Beecham not letting him get away. Rome angling up here for this last sector. Super close. It looks like a mistake from Beecham in the chase right near the touch and go. And goes a bit off course, hitting that last inside clip, Ryan. We know the setup to that final inside clip takes a lot of perseverance not to go flying into your competitor. But what do you make of this second run here overall? And is there enough evidence out there to kind of give you a clear victor.
Yeah, in this situation, you can see that Rome was a little bit smoother coming down from touch and go 1 to outside zone 1. So look at the way he approaches the touch and go. He wasn't quite as close as Trenton, but really, really close there. Nice and smooth by outside zone 1. And then he flows really well there. No handbrake pulls. He manages to kind of keep his speed consistent. Trenton, on the other hand, in the chase seems to choke up a little bit there. As he approaches the touch and go number 2, he looked like he was getting a little too close to the wall maybe, and he sort of kept the angle out of the car, and it hurt him a little bit. The car got really low angle there, and he stumbled a little bit getting to the inside clip. So I think that Rome did a cleaner chase, definitely. And if you look at what Trenton did in the lead, where he had that big handbrake pull, maybe Rome had a better chase run as well. Lead run as well. So we're going to go over to the judges here and see what we come up with for an answer. All right, Ryan, we're getting our votes in here real quick. And I'm not sitting with the other judges, but it looks like they have their votes in already, so should be pretty quick here as we get all them input.
All right, and all 3 judges are going unanimous. Rome Charpentier is your winner, and moving on.
Just as a reminder, everyone, Rome Charpentier is in that BMW. So Trenton Beechum in the Ford Mustang has been knocked out. Rome Charpentier, you might notice there I pronounce his name a little bit differently, but it's the guy in the BMW, the red and black BMW. He's going to move on, and we have the other battle coming up next.
All right, we're going to take a quick timeout here, reset a couple things, come right back, and we'll get our next battle underway between Brendan Sorensen and Michael Essa.
NGK makes ignition coils. Why? Because we prefer a running partner that can keep pace. We know ignition, and since our spark plugs don't run alone, we put some of our energy and expertise into making better coils. NGK ignition coils are engineered to OE durability and performance. And because we race to win, we improve the design, testing, and validation of our coils for better performance. NGK spark plugs and coils, better together.
Ignited. NOS Energy, human horsepower. I'm a OG boy. Know that the ride or die. I keep boys on my seat, boy. Know that the ride or die. I keep boys on my boys on my seat, boy. Know that the ride or die. My name came up a lot of sounds, more when I was not around. Certain people that I know, they ain't no longer about. Certain people that I know.
All right, we are back. And after our winner there between Trenton Beechum and Rome Charpentier, with Rome getting the nod, we are moving on to our next battle between Brandon Sorensen and Michael Essa. Both BMWs, both drivers having great seasons so far in the 21 championship, but doing battle together under the lights for the first time.
Ryan, is Brandon Sorensen the youngest driver ever in Formula Drift?
I think he's pretty close. I think he already turned 17, but maybe the record is going to be held between him or Ken Gucci back in the early days.
Yeah, we kind of forget that Ken was very young when he entered back in the early days of FD.
Michael Essa, your driver on the left-hand side of the screen. Sorensen on the right. All right, let's send them, boys. Okay, I was just alerted. There's some folks walking out on turn 9.
Probably best that we hold the start then.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah, good idea.
Oh, we don't want to ice our boys out there. They love that heat in their tires.
Yeah, they're going to need it tonight. You know, you think Southern California, warm, 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 but as soon as the sun goes down here near the water, it gets a little chilly for those that are at home and don't realize I have a hoodie on right now. You know, my thoughts of Southern California are always hot all the time, but sometimes it's not, and this is one of those times.
Yeah, up here, there's that cross breeze. You get the ocean, and, you know, it's a little bit different than daytime where, you know, the sun is kind of beating down on you. You can definitely wear shorts and a shirt, but up here at nighttime, it's kind of nice to get that beautiful breeze up here, but requires the sweatshirt.
Yes.
All right, let's do this. I hear some cars. Here we go. Brandon Sorensen, Michael Essa. Sorensen out front. Doesn't get a full initiation there, kind of a slow roll. Michael Essa has to make an adjustment mid-course there for Sorensen. Essa blazing. Oh, wow, almost contact there. Lots of grip from Essa, trying to make adjustments to that lead driver. Now snapping back around through that final inside clip. And we saw Michael Essa on a charge there. Ryan, it looked like he was doing a pretty good job to make some adjustments to the driver in the lead, and we do have lead and chase driver responsibilities. How do you see this battle?
Yeah, you're right, Ryan. You could see the initiation from Sorensen. It was almost what we call a stepped initiation, where the car did get to a bit of angle, but paused and then started rotating again. But Michael Essa did an amazing job in the chase position here of adjusting to what Brandon's doing in the lead. You can see Brandon's a little bit off of outside zone 2 there, but Essa right there with him. Brandon does a good job of getting out to the touch and go on driver's left and then bringing it into inside clip number 1 and coming over the finish line. So right there, Brandon Sorensen should be a little bit closer to the wall. That's the area where outside zone 2 is, but he does get nice and close to the touch and go before coming into the inside clip. So I think he laid down a pretty decent lead run with a couple of errors. You could see, as you were saying, that Mike Essa seemed to have a lot of grip in the car and was almost struggling to stay at angle behind Brandon. So it'll be interesting to see now if Michael Essa is a lot faster in the lead position than Brandon was when he was in the lead, and is that going to cause a problem for Brandon trying to keep up?
So Ryan, yeah, we were just I just heard from Brandon's dad came up and said this is the first time he's driven in that car. It's his backup car.
Oh, well, we didn't know that,
he's
did
still
we?
getting used to it. But I think you're right. Michael Essa looks like he has kind of the favor in his court right now because he was able to make those adjustments as the chase driver, and now he's going to have a clear pathway in front of him as the lead. And we saw the areas where he can try to better Brandon's lead run by getting deeper in outside zone 1, having a stronger initiation with good rotation, getting right to angle. And then, of course, in outside zone 2, there was definitely a gap there that Brandon left. He has an opportunity to take that advantage as well. So let's get this thing started and get the second part of the battle underway.
Waiting for those lights to turn on, Ryan. What's nice with this view at night is that we can see those lights between the two cars. So that start tree there, all the lights will turn on red one at a time. And then once they extinguish, that means the drivers can go. Very reminiscent of the Formula One start. Lights, of course, not up across the track, but kind of a little tower in between the two of them there. You will see the lights start to light up. Again, because it's nighttime, it's really easy to see. Sometimes in the daylight for us, far away like this, it's a little bit harder to see, but right now it should be pretty obvious for us. It looks like we're just trying to get some people off the track again here maybe, and we'll get things started back up.
Yeah, what I'm seeing here off screen is there was a track safety worker working over near the last inside clip, apparently to remove some debris. So that happens in drifting.
It does.
It can be a little bit annoying from time to time. I just want to see action all the time.
I wonder whose car that came off of.
All right, looks like we are starting to get thumbs up here. Come on.
The flow is always a little different with drifting. We can't send the cars when there's somebody there. You know, typically in a road race, if they have an issue on the track, they can put out a yellow flag or a red flag and have everybody kind of slow down, drive around the issue on the track. But of course, with drifting, with the short part of the track we're using, we can't do that. So, well, there the lights extinguished and the cars are starting off.
Second half of the battle here. Michael Essa jumps out to a big lead. Sorensen's gonna have to play catch up here. Essa out to that touch and go. Nice move back around. Leaves about a foot gap on that first outside zone. Uh-oh, way off the second outside zone, giving some back to Sorensen. Can Sorensen attack in the last minute here? Oh no, front end washes out, and I think that's gonna be all she wrote. A mistake for Sorensen right on that final inside clip. Losing drift there for just a moment at a critical part of the course. But Ryan, give us your take on the second half of the battle.
Well, as we were saying earlier, Ryan, it looked like Brandon was a little slower in the lead position, and it was kind of slowing Essa up. And here you can see the result of that is that Essa in the lead position is running at his normal speed, and Brandon is struggling to keep up. You can see not really mimicking the line that Michael Essa is throwing down. You can see the proximity isn't there either. And as he comes around to the touch and go, he kind of loses momentum here and can't use that momentum to get around the inside clip. So because of that, the car straightens up and he drives around that inside clip to avoid hitting it. And again, this is Brandon Sorensen's backup car, so he's driving it for the first time and clearly getting used to it. This is not the easiest track to get used to a new car on, especially in the dark. With all these walls around, you want to be playing it safe, and you can see Brandon doing just that.
All right, scores are in. Let's make it official. And it is Michael Essa with the win. Michael Essa moves on.
Michael Essa, of course, was in the white BMW. For those of you not aware of who Michael Essa is,
all right, so moving on to our next battle here. Highly anticipated return. Hope it won't be the last one as we see Justin Pawlak take on Forrest Wang. And Ryan, we're all running around with our heads cut off leading up to this event because we literally have 35 minutes to set up everything, get practice done. It is a huge, massive event that we are a part of here this weekend. And can get a little shaky from times, but looks like we are going to be making our way to the next battle. You can see that we are underway as Justin Pawlak hits the street with Forrest Wang. It doesn't look like he's lost a step, but Pawlak, massive angle at outside zone number 1. Unbelievable. Slight little adjustment there as Wang now comes through that last section. And it does not look like Forrest Wang has lost a step. But on the other side of things, Ryan, Justin Pawlak had one of the best transitions I think I've seen to outside zone 1 with the biggest angle I've seen at outside zone 1.
Yeah, he definitely rode that angle all the way through outside zone 1, outside zone 2. You can see right here that in the chase position, Forrest Wang did a pretty good job of matching what Justin Pawlak was doing at touch and go, but at outside zone 1, he wasn't really on the same line, but works his car back to outside zone number 2 to match what Justin Pawlak was doing there. That's a pretty impressive move, and he did it really smoothly. You couldn't really see any adjustments in the car, so really making that car work. You can see right there, matching pretty well. I'd like to see his car a little further back in the chase position there, that S15. And right here, you can see he's running a little tighter line while Justin Pawlak is getting real deep in outside zone number 2. But in that area is where Forrest Wang was able to match despite not being on the same line. So that takes a lot of finesse to do that without really making us notice the adjustments that he's making to do that. So it looked really smooth. And Forrest has always been really known for that, you know, being able to move his car around, grab a handbrake without you even knowing it sometimes. He's so smooth on the transition from throttle to handbrake and then back to throttle. Typically you see, you know, some adjustment in the angle of the car, but not with Forrest. He's really able to do that smoothly.
Well, now we get the benefit, or Forrest gets the benefit of clean air out front this time around. Highly anticipated return here to the streets of Long Beach, but Justin Pawlak just coming off of this course 1 week ago where he probably did, I don't know, 20 laps. So he's got possibly a bit of experience advantage in recent times, but Forrest Wang does not look like he has lost much of a step here. Big initiation, but Pawlak angles up.
Wow.
We got a big point of contact there. We'll want to take a look at that. It's going to be very decisive in this battle. And Pawlak looks like he was a bit flustered after that point. Oh, and then Forrest loses it in the final corner. So we've got two massive issues at hand here, Ryan. The first one is we see Pawlak angle up, getting close to Wang on initiation. Here it is. And then we see Wang lose it in the last corner. Walk us through it.
Yeah, looking at the initiation, what we're looking at here was Forrest Wang doing what he was supposed to in the lead, and it looks like he was at first view here, and it looks like Justin kind of had his car in the wrong position, went up over the rumble strips, which are pretty aggressive over there. You can see the car moved around a lot, and then he was trying to get back on line, get back to angle, and adjust to what Forrest was doing. But right here, Forrest ends up getting the car. I don't know what happened there. It seems like the car gripped up, he straightened up, drove towards the wall.
And point out for people where the finish line actually is, because that's before the finish line.
Yeah, the finish line would be, it's kind of hard to tell from here. There's an area that's lit up on that wall over there, which is where the finish line would be. But Forrest, just as he goes by the inside clip, straightens up completely, and it looks like stops before making contact with the wall, but that's a cut and clear incomplete from Forrest Wang in the lead position. I would say in the chase position that, you could almost make the case for an incomplete from JTP, but he did stay in drift, he stayed on throttle, he just made a couple of errors there, and
he straightened up a bit, but it didn't really go to a full straighten that you guys would call an incomplete.
Exactly, yeah.
And then how do you see the first run?
The first run, I think that JTP did a better job. I think that Forrest was able to work his car into the areas that he needed to, but there were a couple of areas where he wasn't mimicking exactly as he should, and he was definitely not within the proximity that you'd hope for, let's say, through the entirety of the course. But it really comes down to Forrest at the end there, from inside clip one to the finish line, not finishing the course, straightening the car up, and driving straight there.
All right, well, let's go to your winner. It is unanimous. All three judges go in favor of JTP, Justin Pawlak. So Justin Pawlak moving on there.
It's really great to see Forrest back with us here for this competition here at the Long Beach Grand Prix. And we always wish that he would come back to FD and compete. He's a really stylish, exciting driver to watch, and always puts on a show, and is always a threat out there in competition. So it'd be good to see him back in competition form with us at FD, but we'll take him competing with us anywhere we can.
All right, so the final four brackets starting to shape up here. We've got Rome, Charpentier, Essa, and now Pawlak. And now our next battle underway, Jeff Jones versus Kyle Mohan. Jones leading out front, coming back around to that first outside zone. Uh-oh, Kyle Mohan is smoking.
He's smoking from both ends, Ryan.
Both ends, tires and motor. And we're getting some smell of it up here in the grandstands. And certainly there's going to be some problems for Kyle Mohan. Jeff Jones, pretty decent job out front as the lead driver. And it looks like Kyle's problems start becoming apparent right before outside zone number one.
Yeah, you can see a lot of smoke coming out from...
Right there.
Yeah, you can see it coming out from under the hood, which definitely should not be happening.
I was not purging a NOS.
No, it smells like chainsaw oil up here right now. So you see the cars get to angle. Jeff Jones is doing a great job in the lead position. He was off a little bit there on the touch and go, got a little bit deeper on outside zone one. Outside zone two, nice and smooth, but could have been deeper there, but definitely around where the average driver is getting at tonight with the limited practice they've had. And I don't know what's going to happen with Kyle Mohan. We're not seeing him. Oh, we are seeing him come right back out. So I guess not a concern.
So Mohan probably down a little bit in your guys' eyes, relatively speaking. There is another half of the battle to go where he becomes a lead driver now.
Ooh, look at the smoke.
As we get things underway, but that car is still smoking even as he's gone back on course. Now in Formula Drift competition, we do have what's called competition timeouts where drivers get one of those per competition. It's a 5-minute allotment to fix something on your vehicle that you find necessary to fix in order to compete. And this would be absent any damage or contact or a collision or anything like that. But you can still see the remnants of the smoke coming from Kyle's car. He must feel at least some relative confidence in order to continue, but certainly with all of the lights mixing with the smoke makes for a very much a Halloween style type feel down there at start line, Ryan.
Yeah, it does. I love to see these drivers not really caring. You know, they just kind of push forward and hope for the best. I am not an expert in rotaries, but
and it looks like it looks like a very problematic moment here for Mohan. I believe the lights did extinguish, and he is going to probably bow out of competition. Unfortunately, not able to make that second run. We'll get the official word if that was a full pull. So sadly for Kyle Mohan, probably turned the car back around, realized, and yes, we are getting the axe across the throat. And that is going to be an automatic win right there for Jeff Jones. Moving on, our last driver going into the Final Four. The Final Four is now set. It'll be Jones versus Pawlak and Rome Charpentier versus Michael Essa. And we're going to go right into it because we got a curfew, baby.
Well, it's sad to see Kyle Mohan going out so early like that, but he had a great showing last weekend here at his home track. He moved into the top 16, which he hasn't done in quite a while, put together a great run, and who was the driver he went up against? The red BMW, Reeder.
Yes,
Reeder.
Yes, he took out a guy that's in the top 10.
Yeah, took out Reeder.
But let's remember that the benefit for everybody here tonight, including us, including all the fans, is we're going to do this exact same thing tomorrow.
Yeah, so Kyle needs to take his RX-7, RX-8 back to the shop, which is just down the street, and they can throw in a new set of Doritos into that car and bring it back out tomorrow.
Kyle and some of the other drivers are also doing double duty as pace drivers here in these beautiful Acura NSXs out on course. Kyle honked at me, actually scared me when I was walking into the venue this morning. So,
oh, good for you.
Yeah, he was coming out of the vehicle. Looks like we are getting the thumbs up to move on to the next battle. No debris, no oil, nothing crazy has happened. Cross your fingers, knock on wood. We'll be moving right on to our next battle here. Rome Charpentier taking on Michael Essa. Rome has become one of many people's favorite drivers to watch because he goes 110% all the time. He challenged Vaughn Gittin Jr. last week. Nearly was able to get by him, and he has developed into a really fun driver to watch. Michael Essa, the 2013 Formula Drift champion, was looking phenomenal last week. Silky smooth, a lot of similar attributes to Forrest Wang. I think some people compare as we get a look at the bracket here. You can see the guys moving on. This is the progress we're making so far. I hear some cars getting in the burnout box. That means we're about to get things underway. Michael Essa first to go in. He will be taking the lead, I believe, in the way that he was qualified. Yep.
5th versus 8th.
Okay.
Yeah. So Mike Essa's in that white BMW, and Rome Charpentier is in the red and white BMW. I like BMWs here tonight.
Now, you're the French speaker because I was told you should say Charpentier, but you just said it the way that I think a French person is supposed to say it.
Yeah, maybe Rome pronounces it that way. I'm just it's just habit. Charpentier is how it would be pronounced in French. So
yeah,
I like to keep it au naturel. But yeah.
See, I just learned something new.
He's Charpentier is a woodworker, so he's carpenter.
See?
Charpentier, yeah. Where I'm from, it's Charpentier. I can't help it.
All right, here we go. This battle about to get underway. Michael Essa and Rome Charpentier about to do battle here under the lights. This battle will be for the finals. Here we go. Michael Essa through the chicane, designed to slow drivers down, get them into the first corner together. Rome initiates at that last standing cone, keeps it close. Michael Essa getting out to the touch and go. Here comes Rome, surging forward into outside zone number 2. Trying to drive that line that Michael Essa is laying down in front of him. Last little switch back around. Nice execution by both drivers through that inside clip and clean without knocking over that final marker, Ryan.
Yeah, Rome's doing a great job in the chase position of mimicking what Michael Essa is doing in the lead. You can see that Mike was off a little bit on outside zone 1. Rome could have been a little bit deeper on the touch and go in the chase position. In terms of mimic, though, Rome's doing an okay job of timing when he's getting his car rotated in respect to what Essa's doing in the lead. Now you can see Essa there didn't quite go as deep as he could have in outside zone 2. Rome is in pretty good proximity, transitioning really nice to the touch and go number 2 to inside clip 1, and great proximity over the finish line. So I'd say that Rome does have a couple of areas of opportunity in the lead to improve upon what Michael Essa just did, and that's, you know, a little deeper in touch and go 1, outside zone 1, outside zone 2. I think Mike did a great job from the touch and go number 2 to inside clip 1 to finish, and you can see Rome was really tight on him there, and it takes a lot of trust on the part of the chase driver in the lead driver to get that close, stay on throttle behind them like that.
And I think in a lot of these battles we see where the lead driver leaves a little bit less to be desired, but the chase driver does have good control, does maintain close proximity. Having an opportunity to go out and create a good lead seems like it really does put the ball in your court. So let's keep an eye on Rome here. And he does get out to that touch and go, pretty close to outside zone 2. But Michael Essa is not letting him get away. Oh, and we've got contact. And now it turns into a collision. Outside zone 2 was a big talking point last week. We saw Vaughn Gittin Jr. going to Chelsea Denofa there in one of our last battles in the Final Four. We know that drivers can push extremely hard, and at nighttime, with a little bit less grip, you're gonna get those kind of incidents. Let's go back and look at it again, Ryan. First it was contact, but then it turned into a collision because we had an incomplete after that. So explain what you're seeing here.
Yeah, you can see that Rome in the lead position is doing a great job at the touch and go. Look how close he got to the wall there, a few inches away. Transitions the car, could have been a little snappier on his transition, but definitely did go deeper. Now look there at what was happening in the front right fender well of Rome Charpentier there. Is that just he's on the brakes and it's sparks coming off the brake pads because he's left foot braking? So watch as the car transitions and he comes to outside zone number 2. You can see right there, yeah, a lot of sparks coming off the pads. He is hard on the brakes right there. And that is not an area where we expect that lead driver to slow down. You can see that that front right brake rotor was working hard. That pad was sparking like crazy. So that's an area where we want drivers to be on throttle. And it looked like maybe Rome was kind of slowing his car down a little too much in that area. That's just me making an observation right now. But you could see that Mike Essa was right there with him on throttle, trying to maintain proximity. And it could have been Rome slowing down a little bit too much.
All right, so judges going through, trying to find out who's at fault for that collision. Looks like we've got at least one judge score in, 2 judges scores in, 3 judges score in.
Once I put my score in, I was asking, what do you guys think about that? And one gave me one answer and the other judge gave me a different answer. So it might be interesting here when we come down to the vote for the winner of this round of competition. I think all their scores are in.
All right.
Just waiting for them to pop up.
And it looks like Michael Essa is going to get the nod here and move on. It looks like, Ryan, that some of the other judges at least agreed with you, if not all 3, about what happened there. It looked like Rome was braking in an area where there should have been acceleration.
Yeah, it's kind of hard sometimes with the camera angles or even our position here to see if brake lights are on. Of course, here that's not the case. But what I was pointing out is that sometimes the camera angles can really help show something else, like a front brake pad that is just being pushed to probably an extent that shouldn't be in that area. That was a lot of braking. Typically what we see in a situation of left foot braking is the front inside wheel sometimes will have a little bit less weight on it and might lock up a little bit. You might have a little bit of front wheel lock up there because there's a lot less weight on that tire. But in this case, it was the front right that was being overworked, which can really show that that car is heavy on the brakes and is not really what we're looking for in that area of the track, unfortunately. In that case, you know, we did have some situations last weekend where the lead drivers were held responsible for slowing down at the outside zone 2 area. And in this case, I believe that all 3 judges agreed that that was occurring again. And next up, we have Justin Pawlak and Jeff Jones. And it looks like Justin Pawlak qualified second, Jeff Jones qualified third. Of course, there was no qualifying this round. That is all randomly selected, but that does show us which driver will be leading first. So Justin Pawlak, having qualified second over Jeff Jones' third, means that Justin Pawlak will be leading this battle. And we will see, so Justin Pawlak, of course, driving that Falcon Mustang, Ford Mustang, and Jeff Jones drives the 370Z. You can see him in the burnout box right now in the background. And we're going to get these guys lined up.
I'll tell you a little secret here, Ryan. I got a little message from our race control saying, hey, it looks like we're kind of doing okay on time. What do you guys think about running the 3rd place battle?
Ooh.
And that is kind of cool. You have a little bit of flexibility and freedom here to do that, give the fans a little bit more drifting, and also the drivers an opportunity to do a little bit more as well. So we'll confirm if the 3rd place battle is going to take place, and that'll be between Rome Charpentier and the loser of this battle. But our attention lies here as Justin Pawlak will take the lead as the smoke settles from Jeff Jones to get things underway. Thumbs up from the starter, light about to extinguish, and here we go. JTP out of the chicane, headed down the front straight. Jeff Jones closely in tow. Nice snap there by Justin Pawlak, back on throttle. Jeff Jones trying to follow him as GTP cuts the touch and go a little bit short, but fills outside zone 1 and 2. And here comes Jones through the smoke line. Not a care in the world as he wraps around that inside clip and takes some back from Justin Pawlak. A good little battle there where both drivers had some minor mistakes, but let's see what you think, Ryan, overall on run number 1.
Justin Pawlak definitely left some space there on the touch and go, but got pretty deep in outside zone 1 and outside zone 2. Jeff Jones in the chase position was not fully mimicking Justin's line, so there was kind of a compromise there from Jeff Jones in the chase position, but you can just see the level of comfort with each other and with this track from both drivers. You can see the level of commitment from Justin Pawlak in the lead position, the amount of throttle he was using through the entire track, definitely going at a speed that I don't know if we've seen yet. You can see he's
a little bumpy, choppy, not getting out there, low angle.
Yeah, but then gets the car rotated on the throttle really fast. Jeff Jones, you could see there almost on the rumble strip, actually might have had a tire on the rumble strip through the outside zone 1 to outside zone 2 area, which is not what we're looking for through there from the chase driver, as the lead was on a pretty wide line. But I think getting the car initiated, getting back on throttle where you really need to is the tricky part here tonight, because if you misjudge that entry by a foot or two, it could send you into the wall, because these guys are leaving sometimes inches between the back bumper and the wall. And if you end up a foot or two deeper than you expect it to be, then, you know, here with the wall, instead of, let's say, grass on the outside, you could end up putting the back of that car right into the wall.
Here we go. Jeff Jones trying to get some back here from Justin Pawlak as we get things underway in the final 4. Jones, woo, out to the touch and go, super deep. Little bit hesitant back around on that first outside zone, but look at Pawlak keeping him right in line. Final area of attack, getting into the pocket, completely smoked out as Jones hits through that last inside clip. And a good back and forth battle between these two veterans of the sport. Jones looked phenomenal on that touch and go, Ryan. He maybe a little bit hesitant on that outside zone, but how do you and the other judges see it?
Well, the touch and go one was phenomenal from Jones. He really threw the car without a care in the world, it looked like. You know, what I was just saying a second ago it seems to be ignored by Jones right out to the wall there. He had a bit of a hesitation on his transition to outside zone number 1. Did pretty well on outside zone number 2. In the chase position, you could see Pawlak right there with him, not really giving him any space. So it's going to come down to that lead-to-lead comparison and then the chase-to-chase comparison. And we're looking at errors that drivers made and accomplishments as well. So, you know, outside zone, or sorry, touch and go 1, Jeff was definitely deeper than Pawlak was. Pretty much the same on maybe outside zone 1 to 2. Jeff was on throttle, pretty aggressive, but he had that hesitation in the lead position. So definitely a couple of errors from both drivers. So we'll see what the judges come up with here as we get our scores input to our little iPad system we have going on here. And the results should come up very shortly.
All right, and it is all 3 unanimous. It is a one more time. These guys are going to be doing battle again. And I wonder if that's going to have an impact on the 3rd place battle.
Well, Ryan, actually, that wasn't a unanimous decision. One of the judges said Jeff Jones, actually, so it was 2-1. Yeah, 2 one more times to a Jeff Jones vote. So in the finals now, we have Mike Essa versus Jeff Jones.
All right, well, let's pay some bills. Let's go take a quick break as we will find out who's moving on into the finals when we come back here on the streets of Long Beach at the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach.
My name is Farouk Kawai.
Hey, I'm Justin Pawlak.
What's up? I'm Jeff Jones. Hey guys, Dylan Hughes, Formula Drift Pro 1 driver, and I drive Link.
I drive Link.
I drive Link.
I drive Link.
With performance this raw, you need air that's pure. We started with a firm belief that innovation could improve performance. With the success of 50 years and millions of filters behind us, we continue to look ahead. Guaranteed to protect against dirt and proven to provide up to 50% more airflow. This is filtration for the future.
What's up, everyone? Vaughn Jr. here, and I am pumped because Matt is the winner of the K&N Premium Experience, and he has no idea that I'm going to take him for a lap around the streets of Long Beach. Yo, what's up?
Dude, what's up, man?
Is your name Mac?
Yeah?
This envelope has upgraded VIP tickets for you, a track walk, meet and greet, which we're doing right now.
Dude, are you serious?
Yep. And if you're down, I will take you for a hot lap in my Mustang.
That would be the coolest
around
thing
the track.
ever. Are you freaking serious?
I'm serious, bro.
Oh my
I'm
God.
serious. I love smiles on faces.
I honestly just am so so speechless. Like, that was the coolest thing ever. Literally the best day of my life.
He was really like, I bet you won't take the bumper off. And I was like, okay.
He did it.
Fair enough. Here we are.
It was so cool. Thank you.
Congrats. Big thanks to K&N for putting smiles on faces, not only with amazing product, but with experiences like this. So you guys are killing it. Keep it up.
Making memories there as we come back here to the streets of Long Beach. Beautiful little video put together by K&N Air Filters. Mac getting the ride of his life with 2020 champion Vaughn Gittin Jr. Packed house down here. How you guys doing out there, Long Beach? Well, here it is. It's come into play. We saw the braking there from Rome Charpentier that resulted in Michael Essa moving forward. This is your track here at the course. Those are the judged areas. We've got our finish line down there just past that inside clip. And Ryan, what have you thought so far about tonight's competition? And has it seemed any different than last week to you?
No, it really hasn't, Ryan. It's just kind of a continuation of last weekend. That decel map is one of the things that we've implemented over the years because we felt that we needed to protect the chase driver. We needed to, we're always asking that chase driver to be as close as possible to the lead driver. And if ever there was a situation where the lead driver slowed down in an area they weren't supposed to, we wanted to be able to tell the chase driver, we've got you. We're going to protect you. We're going to put that responsibility on the lead driver. And I think that putting that responsibility on the lead driver really gives the lead driver even more incentive to be as perfect as possible, because not only will it come down to the lead-to-lead comparisons, but if the lead driver is doing something they shouldn't be doing in an area they shouldn't be doing it, well, that could be held against them. So the lead drivers have all the incentive in the world to do the perfect lead run and really not try to play games or make errors that will affect the chase driver. So that decel map, I think, has really given us the closest battles that we've ever had.
Well, here we have a look at the one more time battle. This is what we're going to be seeing here. Both drivers getting new set of rear tires. For many of the fans that don't watch the sport regularly, basically about 2 laps for a set of rears, and they need to go and change those, get a fresh set on. So that's what we're going to see here, is these guys getting back to the line. Justin Pawlak going to be doing battle against Jeff Jones. Clearly there were some areas where both drivers made some mistakes, Ryan. Areas where they can improve. What were some of the things, if you were their spotter or their team advising them, that they should do in the second half of or this one more time battle?
Yeah, in that case, I gave the win to Justin Pawlak on the chase run. So chase-to-chase comparisons, I thought Justin won in the chase position, but I felt that in the lead position, Jeff Jones won because he was really close on the touch and go, did a good job on outside zone 1 and 2. I felt that in the lead, Justin should have gone deeper in the touch and go, could have done a little bit better in outside zone 1 as well. So when you're doing that lead to lead and chase to chase comparison, you can end up with one driver wins the lead, one driver wins the chase, or vice versa. And in that case, you have to call the one more time, which is why I did that. Eggert is the one that called for Jeff Jones, so he clearly saw an advantage for Jeff in both positions in that case. And that's why there are 3 judges, break it up, majority wins, and we end up with either a one more time or we get a driver moving on. So we're going to see these 2 drivers go head-to-head again. I think we have one of the 2 back there already. Is that correct?
Yeah, and just, reminiscing, thinking as we see Justin Pawlak coming on course in front of us now, in front of the main grandstands. Both Justin Pawlak and Jeff Jones have given us so many incredible memories over the years for things that they've done in and outside of competition. I can remember a wheel falling off of Jeff Jones's vehicle and still finishing the run in Orlando.
Yeah.
We obviously have had so many incredible memories, the Daigo Saito incident with Justin Pawlak back in like 2012, him and Vaughn getting into it from time to time. He has just been a consummate competitor and has given us so many memories, and he still seems like he's improving his program year after year, even having been in it for so long.
He had a rough start to this season, Ryan. I think he grenaded 3 motors maybe through this season. I remember walking around the track after one of them in Florida, I believe it was, picking up internal pieces of his engine off the track.
And then he had that full detonation in Erie.
In Erie as well, yeah. So to see him here doing 2 events, weekend, one weekend after the other, being able to depend on that engine and really being more confident in how it was built. I believe he said the first 2 engine failures, the engines were so destroyed that they couldn't figure out what exactly failed because so many other things were destroyed afterwards. But I believe it was the one in, maybe it was in Florida or Erie, I can't remember which one, but he actually was able to find the point of failure and realized what the error was, what the problem was. And you can see that he's been putting together some great performances since then. And I'm sure that was a little bit hard on him, emotionally and mentally at the beginning of the season like that. But you can see now that he's not letting that hold him back and pushing through pretty hard with that car.
Yeah, so much of drifting, and especially the Formula Drift Championship, is just about trying to avoid vehicle attrition over a long season. 8 rounds this year, last year 8 rounds, but double competition rounds on 4 weekends really had an impact on the strategy that drivers tried to employ in our COVID-shortened season in 2020. This year, coming back and seeing how the drivers have prepared, we've seen, I think, less of that, but we are really pushing the limits. I mean, 1,000 horsepower, 1,100 horsepower, really unbelievable compounds on these tires that are so grippy. Here we go, Justin Pawlak and Jeff Jones getting things underway. Pawlak improves on the touch and go, but not fully out there. Big angle, oh no, oh no, oh no! Almost leading Jeff Jones into the tire wall. And after that huge transition to outside zone 1, Jones surged forward, and I definitely want to see that again, Ryan.
Wow.
Pawlak was blazing underneath the gain bridge. As we take a look one more time, what did you see here, Ryan, from both drivers?
Yeah, Justin did get deeper to the touch and go, not fully all the way out there, but look at the angle he's running from outside zone 1. I thought he was going to over-rotate there. You could see that he had to pull angle out of the car.
He misses outside zone 2.
Yeah, it kind of changed the line of the car as he took angle out, so he didn't actually spin. You could see that he kind of drove off the wall a little bit. Jeff, on the other hand, was still running the same line as he wasn't over-rotating. He was kind of doing the same thing line-wise that Justin was doing in the lead, but with a more manageable level of angle. And I'm sure Justin here was going for, that big transition, and he just over-rotated. You could see that he had to take that angle out, which forced him to miss outside zone 2. And in that case, Jeff kind of backed off a bit, thinking maybe something bad was going to happen there.
Is it fair to say, Pawlak angles up probably more than he should? Jones was on a tighter line, and so you saw that compression come in. Then Jones has to kind of make an adjustment to maybe avoid collision. Is that a right way to think about what happened there?
Yeah, and you kind of have to put that on Justin in the lead. Because of that big over-rotation, it kind of took him on a wide line through there, and that's not really the traditional line, let's say, that a lead driver should be following through there. It was very deep between outside zone 1 and the beginning of 2, where, as we saw, the car over-rotated on its way there, and then his line kind of went in off the wall at that point. So Jeff was doing his best to follow up until that point, but at that point in time, he's not following a traditional run either anymore.
If Jones was at proximity, that could have been a lot worse, right? Like, if he was a foot away.
Like, you have to think about the decel from Justin in the lead there being at that amount of angle. Maybe not the decel, but he's not kind of accelerating the way that you would expect a car to be on throttle through that whole area. So it's a little bit tricky to follow something like that at close proximity, because you're trying to predict what that lead driver's doing, and that's part of the reason why, again, we have the decel map in play.
Here we go, Jeff Jones and Justin Pawlak, second half of the battle here. Jones looking snappy there, gets right into it. Pawlak this time clean on the initiation behind him. Jones out to the touch and go. Nice swoop back around, outside zone 2. Gets pretty close. Now this last corner here, can Pawlak make up ground? He surges forward, gets through that inside clip, and a much cleaner run both way around. But you have to wonder, was the damage done to Justin Pawlak in that first run?
Well, Justin, I would say, did a great job chasing, but he had a really good lead to follow here. So you always need a good lead to have a great chase. And in this case, both of those were present. So watching what Jeff did in the lead, really smooth. He cleaned it up from his last run. I'm sure his spotter had a couple of things to say to him, areas to clean it up. Jeff is out there probably a little bit deeper than Justin was in the touch and go. Really good job on outside zone 1, running a good line, gets nice and deep there, close to the wall and outside zone number 2, and he's really, really smooth. I think that's the key point there with Jeff. Over the years, Jeff has really cleaned up his driving. He's so smooth now and able to put his car where it needs to be on the track, and did a great job up in the lead position.
All right, here we go. Scores are coming in. Who's it going to be, Jones or JTP? 1 for Jeff Jones. And 2 for Jeff Jones. That is going to get him the win. All 3 judges going in favor of Jeff Jones, taking out one of the titans of the sport, Justin Pawlak. However, Justin will be back because he is going to be going for that 3rd place position against Rome Charpentier. It'll be Michael Essa and Jeff Jones in the finals. We will be right back to give you your 3rd place and then your final to find out who's going to be the winner here at Super Drift Challenge, live from Long Beach, California.
NGK makes ignition coils. Why? Because we prefer a running partner that can keep pace. We know ignition, and since our spark plugs don't run alone, we put some of our energy and expertise into making better coils. NGK ignition coils are engineered to OE durability and performance. And because we race to win, we improve the design, testing, and validation of our coils for better performance. NGK spark plugs and coils, better together.
Your body is a machine with 800 horses coursing through its veins. Ignite it. NOS Energy, human horsepower.
My name came up a lot of sounds, more when I was not around. Certain people that I know, they ain't no longer about. Certain people that I know, they ain't no longer about.
All right, and we are back here at the streets of Long Beach, live from Long Beach here at the Super Drift Challenge. And Ryan, we've had a pretty eventful competition so far. We've gotten approval to get this 3rd place battle underway, which will just be a tire change. But we are going to see Michael Essa and Jeff Jones in the finals. What are your thoughts so far here for the first day of Super Drift?
Well, we're seeing some drivers that, Jeff Jones made it all the way down to the finals here, which is something that we always like to see. Jeff is somebody who's been in the series a long time, and like I said earlier, his driving has just cleaned up so much that, it's inevitable that he's going to start knocking out some of the, the traditionally higher finishing drivers. And now you can see there that he's going to go up against Essa in the finals.
I believe this is probably one of the first finals that we've had with Jeff Jones in it at this event. So that is a big congratulations to him. We will be designating also our 3rd place winner as well, if you will, in the battle between Charpentier and Justin Pawlak. And that will be the first thing that we see. I see a good matchup there between those 2 drivers. Obviously, we saw Beechum and Charpentier do work in the Great 8. And then we saw Charpentier lose to Essa in the Final 4. On the other side, we saw Pawlak get through Wang and then lose to Jones. And so we find those two guys, which I think is a pretty good matchup driving style-wise. JTP likes to drive hard, and Rome does as well.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty exciting battle as long as, you know, no major errors are made. It should be on throttle, it should be committed, it should be angle all the way through the course. JTP just needs to get a little bit deeper in each scored area, and I think that he'll give a good challenge to Rome. Rome's been pretty accurate tonight as well. Been putting his car where he needs to. Just needs to watch the left foot brake. But I think that those little situations come up sometimes when drivers feel like they're maybe not getting all the way out to a zone that they need to. And unfortunately, sometimes maybe just not being as deep in the zone, but not making the big correction would be better for them. But at the time, you're trying to adhere to what the judges are looking for. You're trying to fulfill the lead driver goals. And sometimes that is not the right choice, but at the time it feels like the thing they need to do.
And here is the look back here at the battle that we just saw that resulted in Justin Pawlak losing out to Jeff Jones. And Ryan, it looked like he really focused, Jeff that is, on making those improvements on his lead run relative to the one more time battle. And when you make those improvements, when you listen to what you guys are saying in terms of, oh, this driver could have done better in this area, and then you go out and actually do that, that does kind of show not only just a maturity, but the ability to be able to make those adjustments as a pro driver.
Yeah, exactly. And in this situation, we can't take away from Jeff what he did in the lead. It was a great lead. But I think the error from JTP is what really sealed his fate here, unfortunately. And that's the chance you take sometimes when you're trying to throw down that really aggressive, really showy lead run. And it can either be a big success, or you can end up doing something like this where you over-rotate,
right,
and unfortunately you go offline. And you can see that the line going from outside zone 2 to inside, or sorry, to the touch and go number 2 there was compromised quite a bit. He was really far inside and having to grab handbrake and try to adjust the car there. So it was a pretty big error on his part.
Well, the pathway for Michael Essa had him going up against Rome Charpentier. Essa does look like he is in good form here tonight, and really in his chase run, keeping that proximity, but making the adjustments needed. Now, in that case, the adjustment was just too much for him to overcome, and you guys gave fault to Rome there. And I think that the night probably helped you a little bit, right? Because you saw the sparks from the braking.
Yeah, and from our angle where we're sitting, I would not have been able to see that live without the camera, but as soon as we watched the replay, you could see it immediately. And, you know, it helps that we have the live stream playing, which is maybe 20 seconds behind our live view. So as soon as the live view is over, I can watch the live stream instantly, which gives me a quick view before the actual replay comes up here. So it's really easy at night to see those types of things, and it does help. It's, you know, getting the information to us is the most important part for us to do our jobs, and that type of information, it's almost like in that case the car sort of gave us information that I'm sure the driver didn't want us to have.
Well, if you heard that sound, you heard the familiar sound of Justin Pawlak's Ford Mustang. He's now come into camera position now to go meet up with Rome Charpentier. The third place battle, it'll be burnout right into the box. And let's see how this lines up. Justin Pawlak is the number 2 qualifier, and Rome is the number 8 qualifier. So JTP will be leading, and Rome will be following him on this first run.
And they both conveniently have 1,000 horsepower each, so this should be a good matchup.
Yes.
Perfect. And there we see Michael Essa heading back to the start line area, so he'll be getting ready for his final battle with Jeff Jones once we get through the Rome Charpentier and Justin Pawlak battle for 3rd place. Now, I guess we're just going to wait for Jeff Jones to get back there, but maybe we'll do our battle first here. We could see that JTP just finished doing his warm-up, his burnout. We're going to get Mike Essa through the burnout box back to the start line.
All right, so following this, we will have our trophy ceremony down on course. We'll actually be right in front of turn 2 for us, so outside zone 2. You can stick around and watch that. We'll be doing our our third, second, and first place winners here tonight. But first, it's going to be finding out who gets that third spot.
Sometimes, Ryan, we watch the burnout box and we think, how are they going to have any tires left after burning out for what feels like 5 minutes? But we realize they need to get heat in the tires. And some days it's 100 degrees outside. We're wondering how hot do those tires, really need to be. But tonight, I think they need it.
And think about the evolution of getting heat in the tires. And we do know from studying the tires over the years that the mechanism that they use, the figure eights, helps them get heat in the fronts as well.
Sure.
And that's become incredibly important, especially at a 90-degree turn going right. But I mean, it just used to be rolling burnouts.
Yeah, yeah. But you have to have a balance front to rear.
Right.
If you end up with grippy rears going into the first corner with cold fronts, yeah, it's a bit of an issue.
Here we go, the third place battle underway at the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach. Justin Pawlak taking the lead. Big snap to angle as always huge e-brake pull as Rome surges forward. Pawlak once again not getting out to that touch and go. Better on outside zone 1. But look at Rome shadowing him all the way through. Oh, and then just a little bit of an adjustment there as we get into this final section. And Rome seemed to be composed. There's also at least 1 or 2 areas that he can better the lead run from Justin Pawlak. Pawlak has had a tougher time with that touch and go. Better on outside zone 1. And a pretty good job on 2.
Look at that angle.
But Ryan, take us through this. We'll start the run from the beginning. That seemed like a pretty competitive way to start the third place battle.
Yeah, that was a great run from Justin Pawlak. I believe that's probably what he was trying to do earlier against Jeff Jones. So you can see on initiation, pretty good angle through there, got fairly deep on the touch and go, great transition outside zone 1. And look at the angle, he's able, a couple of little movements in the front tires, but mostly angle is set through outside zone 1 to outside zone 2. You can see that Rome is right there with him, but not quite matching the angle. That's a lot of angle to match through there.
Leaving outside zone 2.
Yeah, going into outside zone 2. You can see that Rome's got proximity, but he's not quite matching that angle. Looks really, really good on proximity, though, and that's what we're looking for. We want you to stay close. You can see right there, Rome took a little bit of angle out of the car. There was a correction, and he's not quite going as deep line-wise as Justin was. But, of course, this is all comparative now, so we're going to have to see how Rome does in the lead and how well Justin can adapt in the chase.
Give us all the elements, baby. Here we go. Rome using the entirety of the course. Pawlak, straight line approach, getting in the pocket, pushing out. Oh, Pawlak goes into the wall. The front end is going to wash down. And this could be a victory lap for Rome Charpentier. Crossing that finish line, if he gets through it, could be a victory lap for Rome Charpentier and a third place. Pawlak looked like he pushed a little bit too hard in the chase. The rear bumper goes into the touch and go wall and he straightens out. Ryan, is that what we just saw?
Yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier, that slight miscalculation that can really bite you. So drivers maybe being, sometimes being a little bit more conservative and getting their car a little bit on the inside, but Justin definitely went a little too deep there. And you could see that as the back of the car got into the wall, he was able to get angle out of the front wheel so that he didn't have the front end slap into the wall. Really quick hands there, Ryan. That could have gone really bad for him. You can see how quickly he gets the front end straightened up and
you don't
save
see,
the car.
And there's no visual, like you can still see he's still using a lot of left foot brake, but there's a big gap there.
Yeah.
Now going into the touch and go area, if you were to say there was anything on fault for the lead driver, it would have to be a visual decel, and you did not see that there.
No, exactly. That's strictly Justin getting a little too deep in the touch and go. Just a slight miscalculation on his initiation. And just
look at this. Sorry to cut you off.
Yep.
Rome Charpentier, the majority winner and your third place victor here at Super Drift. Congratulations to Rome. Justin Pawlak will be back tomorrow, but now we move right on into the finals, Ryan. It's going to be Michael Essa versus Jeff Jones.
That was exciting.
That was very exciting.
That was exciting. Justin generally doesn't leave anything on the table. He really pushed hard, wanted to get as deep as Rome, but unfortunately just went, what was that, maybe 8 inches too deep into that zone, into that touch and go area. If the bumper had just been, 8 to 10 inches further in, maybe that wouldn't have happened. Maybe even less, maybe the bumper could have absorbed a bit of it.
And sure enough, he will be, I will guarantee you, when we go into the arena after this, he will be hyper motivated to go through everything that happened here tonight, probably ask you guys a ton of questions about the way that you saw things, and then come back here tomorrow and give us another heck of a performance. But it is now our focus of attention right to these two gentlemen. Jeff Jones will be our lead driver out front, followed by Michael Essa. It seems like Michael Essa has had a quiet approach to getting to the finals, getting through there pretty quickly and looking solid overall in his performance, especially in those chase runs. He just seems to have another, looks like he has another gear here tonight. Jeff Jones, not one to back down from a knife fight, and this is definitely going to be one of those, as he will be taking the lead against Michael Essa.
It's always fun doing an event in the dark here at the streets of Long Beach. Like you said, we're not really used to it on the competition, you know, the actual championship side of things, but it adds a whole other level to this street course with the smoke and the lights.
Yeah, and it being September, it's an absolutely gorgeous and beautiful night here in downtown Long Beach. So grateful to all the support that everybody from the city and the Grand Prix has done to put this event together. And it's been a good one so far. 2 more days of action to go, Saturday and Sunday. We'll be back here for one more run tomorrow night, right around the same time. We'll be starting a little bit earlier tomorrow. But this is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the last battle of the evening. Thanks for sticking it out and joining us. Got a lot more activities to go, as we've got our concerts and lots of other fun stuff about to get underway. But let's get to this. Jeff Jones taking the lead. Nice little snap there. Oh, Michael Essa looks like he's got into his initiation a little bit late. Jones out front, back around to that outside zone. Michael Essa just seems like he is on another level here tonight, but I gotta wonder about the initiation. Was he at angle before the last standing marker on the wall? And an indication of that is going to be where we see him come to angle behind Jeff Jones.
So look on the ground, there's a concrete patch just past that crosswalk. See that where it's shinier? That's where we're saying the drivers need to be initiated well before that. That's well before that, actually. So the fact that he was still straight coming to that makes me think that he was a little bit late on his initiation. Jeff Jones in the lead position, though, look at that, out wide to the touch and go. Just a little bit off of outside zone 1. Outside zone 2, though, woo, look how deep he gets. You know, maybe a foot off the wall there, on throttle, fully committed. And then you've got Mike Essa right there with him, running slightly shallower line, though, not really getting out as deep as Jeff Jones did in the lead. And then maybe a little less angle there around inside clip 1, but Jeff Jones really doing a great job there. And I think, like you said, though, the initiation from Mike Essa in the chase position might not have been ideal.
Now speculate for me, you know, you do some driving yourself, you're with tandem with other drivers. What would you suspect went on there with Essa in the chase if you had to take a guess? Or is there enough for you to, you know, say, I think this is what happened?
It's really hard to say. It could be just you know, a misshift, or you're, you know, not really have the speed going in the chase, or just not getting the hard angle.
Second half, Michael Essa all the way into the touch and go. The attitude of the vehicle adjusts a little bit going into outside zone 1, but he is looking on fire here. Final turn, who's going to be your winner? Does Jeff Jones have enough to get through as Michael Essa puts down a heck of a lead there? A slight, he really did a great job saving it going into the touch and go. There was about 6 to 8 inches of bumper compression that did adjust the attitude, or it adjusted his approach, it looks like, to outside zone 1. But you take us through it, Ryan.
Yeah, you can see there he kind of angled the car up in anticipation of the actual bumper hitting the wall. Went pretty deep into the rear of the car, but there was you know, just a bit of a correction there. It wasn't the most serious impact that we've seen. Could have definitely been worse. Clearly not as bad as what happened to JTP, but slight miscalculation maybe on how deep he was going to go there. You can see him the back of the car, the tire almost touched the wall. And as he transitions, he's not quite as deep into outside zone 1 as he'd like to be. And then going to outside zone number 2, quite a bit off of that as well. So comparatively lead to lead, I think Jeff Jones wins in that respect. And now it's going to come down to, on the chase run, what do you think of Jeff Jones's chase compared to Mike Essa's?
Well, this is why I would never want to be a judge, because it's not fun, but it looks like the results are coming in. We do have a victor. It does look unanimous as well, so let's bring our third place driver down, along with our final 2 drivers, Michael Essa and Jeff Jones. Rome Charpentier picking up that third place. Give these guys a round of applause, Long Beach. They came out here tonight to give you guys a show, and we've worked our way through it with Michael Essa, bumper kind of hanging on by a string there. All right, as we get our drivers out of the car and we start to break things down, we want to congratulate first our driver that had to do battle a number of different times, getting through it one more time. Give it up for car number 171 in third place, Rome Charpentier. And now your winner, after a back and forth battle, a great job by him overall. He is your winner here on the streets of Long Beach at the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach here at Super Drift. Give it up for Jeff Jones!
Congratulations, Jeff.
Congratulations to Jeff Jones, and in second place, a hard-fought battle. Looked like the guy to beat tonight, car 101 from Orange County. Second place, Michael Essa. And awarding the trophies here tonight is Martin Bannon, the Director of Marketing and Sponsorship. Martin is actually retiring after this Grand Prix. We want to say thank you, Martin, for everything that you've done for our sport and all the participants and people that are involved in the Long Beach Grand Prix as we give our trophies out to our winners. Rome Charpentier, Michael Essa, and Jeff Jones.
Look at Jeff Jones rubbing his hands together out there, loving this situation here up on the, the top block, the virtual top block of the podium. And the great part about this is we get to do it all again tomorrow night.
All right, let's see these guys pop it off for the traditional champagne spraying. It looks like Rome is a little nervous over there. Here he goes. He's got his. Oh, he almost got hit in the eye with that cork.
Try not to get any champagne on the racing line for tomorrow, boys.
Well, thank you guys. Thank everybody for coming. We'll be back here tomorrow for day 2. Congratulations to all our winners. For Ryan Lantane, I am Ryan Sage. We will see you guys tomorrow for the next round of Super Drift.
Good night, everybody.
My name is Farouk Kouaim.
Hey, I'm Justin Pawlak. What's up? I'm